very strange experiences when I was younger, and even I grew up in Hawaii after that, and I had a lot of very strange things happen out there as well. I didn't start doing paranormal investigations until probably 2013, 2014 officially. Basically, I just kind of found my group. I found my people. And I have a friend who does podcasts, and he started, it's now a Facebook group called Hawaiian Hauntings. And so Joe started this group and decided to start doing outings. First, it went from just being on Facebook to going out and investigating different locations. And I knew him right at the start before he started going out on outings. So I joined him. And from there, I just met other people who, some were psychics, some were just sensitive, some just wanted to go out. And just kind of met a big group of people that we all did our own little excursions. It's kind of like adult field trips. And it kind of spiraled from there, because we used to actually get people call and ask us to go and, clear a house or investigate for private citizens in different locations. And some were just, we heard cool stories, so why not check out the location?
Sounds good. What are some of your, listening guys, the panel, anytime you want to interject with something, or if you want to ask Kaila some questions, just jump right in. Kaila, what are some of your best cases?
Well, in Hawaii, one of the best ones we had was we actually went, it was a children's day camp. So I won't say the name of the location, right, but pretty much everything in Hawaii is linked somehow to some type of culture. There's history everywhere. Every place seems to also have somebody buried there, it seems like. So this particular camp had a lot of activity. There was, under this, they had like an auditorium that was also used for like church events sometimes. And they used to have a lot of strange things they said would happen in there. There was kayaks stored underneath it. And the kayak room, kayaks would be moved. Things would disappear. Things would just change places. There was one of the campsites, like it was a strange setup. You could go out in these outdoor giant tents that just had a roof, or you could sleep in almost like a little hotel room. And there was one particular room that had a lot of activity. So we went there to investigate, and we were in the kayak room. I remember we were all there, like probably 10 or 15 of us, and 2 of our friends got very sick. We actually had to carry them out.
Wow.
And yeah, I had a backpack. I love minions. I had a backpack that would talk if you squeezed a button. My backpack was talking. Wow. So that was kind of fun to take that out. We saw a shadow run past us. It ran into a kayak, and like my water bottle went flying in the air. And at that same time, another person hit the ground and had to be carried out. So I don't know exactly who was in there. We just know it wasn't a pleasant area. We found out the history later that, unfortunately, that was an old Hawaiian village, and cannibals had come across the area. And in order to save the children, a lot of the villagers basically buried their own kids to save them from being eaten. So a lot of children were murdered there. There was an area that wasn't marked off limits, so people were walking across the children's grave. So a lot of the activity seemed to come back from there. I asked them to actually go ahead and mark it and just acknowledge the children who died, and to go ahead and put a sign that said not to enter. And so they put rocks around the actual burial site, and they were able to go ahead and acknowledge the children, and we did the same thing. We went and kind of gave them a little ceremony and put them to rest. And I know they had less activity after. But that whole night was pretty crazy.
Wow.
It was a long night. I mean, I had a friend, we saw a figure walk through a fence. Not climb a fence, not go under the fence. They walked right through the chain link fence over there and was coming right towards us. So we were like, okay, that's when we decided to walk away. But it was just a lot of things happening. I remember the spirit box went crazy in one of the bedrooms. And I can't remember exactly what they said. This was back in 2016. They had a lot to say over there. So that was kind of an interesting place, because we were there to kind of investigate and find out. I ended up somehow going over there and helping them trap feral cats for a long time. So I used to go back and visit because I was helping them with their cat population. I was also a part-time animal rescuer. So I would go back and visit the children, and I'd leave them candy. and I was told everything settled down after the acknowledgement, and of course, occasional visits helped, but there's still a lot of activity there. It's just there's certain areas that are always in Hawaii, I feel like, going to have activity.
And Kaila, what island did this happen at?
It happened on Oahu.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I lived for 28 years. So there's a lot of places we went. I mean, there's places that you would go publicly. Most people who visited Hawaii, they heard of the Pali Lookout. That was a very popular place for us to go to. The Pali Lookout is a beautiful scenic mountain. And you see that in the daytime, and you see half the island. It's a beautiful view, but it's also a historic battleground. Many people died there.
I've seen that mountain. Yes, I know what you're talking about. My brother Andy, he lived in Hawaii for I think 7 years, and he said that. I mean, the paradise, it's all there. You know, they did Fantasy Island over there. They did.
Yes.
I think they did Godzilla over there. And he said that the islands are very, very haunted.
They are.
Yeah.
There's a ton of activity. It's beautiful places in the daytime, and everyone runs around not realizing what's following them around.
And a lot of people don't realize it, but Hawaii is also claimed as part of Lemuria. When Lemuria went into the ocean, Hawaii was left over. Anybody on the panel want to say something before we move on? Go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you like sites like that, historic sites, or like commercial, or do you like residentials?
We used to do a lot of historic sites just for the fun of going off to investigate. Some of them we would go to, urban legends. What's the real story behind the urban legend? Is it really what they say? And go and investigate there. We went to a couple different residentials, but sometimes it's hard to get access. But we also, one of our favorite things to do, we would just go hike on the side of the road. And just park on the side of the road and hike up into certain areas. But just kind of depends on what part of the island you were on. But yeah, residential, I always feel like that's kind of a tough one. If you can get permission, I mean, I don't like to tell people to go ahead without permission.
Kaila, Hercules has something to say to you, but I just want to let you know, when I had my group, Halo Paranormal Investigations, that's all we did was residential. And I think it's because we really put it out there, and people started calling us, and a lot of the cases were residential. We hardly did any public places.
Yeah, see, that's the hard part, is if you get permission like that, when someone's asking you, then that's great. Come in, check it out. We had a military lady come and ask us to investigate her home, but it turned out she brought something back from her during travel.
Wow. Hercules has something to say. Hercules?
I've investigated things in this country and also in Greece. And I noticed that because the folklore is different, even though there's overlap in the folklore, some of the phenomenon is more strongly influenced by the local folklore and stories that are told of these type of entities and events. Did you find that true also in Hawaii, that the cultural aspects of Hawaii played a part in the types of